This is the Blackboard course site for the course. Of course, you get Blackboard, you can go through all the different links in the college's webpage, or you can use this URL at the very top right here, the address at the top. And I recommend that you make that one of your favorites. Blackboard, this is a Blackboard supported course, and we use Blackboard a lot in this class. So, in fact, we take the test on this. So if you're having problems in logging into Blackboard, you need to make sure you get that taken care of now, right? This week. You're not going to have a problem with the class. So the setup, we have the home page. This is where announcements is. This is where the college calendar, this is where the course calendar will be. I'm just now in the process of setting this up because I just now figured out exactly what classes I was going to end up teaching. So this is the way the calendar appears, of course. So here's the start of the semester. It's not actually the start of the class. And so y'all have y'all's first assignment due where? Right here. There it is on the calendar. And the second assignment is due here. So there's 2 assignments already on the calendar. Don't have the test schedule set up yet. But and then this month, August the 4th, the college is closed for what is it? Labor Day. I think we have a couple of holidays in this semester. This is a full term course, so Thanksgiving break or fall break comes in this semester. So fall break is it's the week of November the 20th to the 24th. So that's when your fall break. Y'all get that whole week off. We don't get the whole week off, but y'all get the whole week off. And then the test will also be on here when I figure it. So that's going to be the course calendar. This is the assignments that's in place for the class already. So assignment 1, it gives it out, lays out what you're supposed to do for assignment 1. And when's that due? Friday at midnight, right? Here's assignment 2. Assignment 3, assignment 4, assignment 4, I got to read it to see what's going on there. 5 and 6. So there's actually 6 assignments up here already. Now they're kind of spread out through the term, but if you'll notice, since we do these assignments every time for this class, normally we don't put a date. I need to go back and do it. This should say the first Friday. This should say the second Friday, and that's normally what I do now, say the third Friday and stuff like that. And I will put a due date up on the calendar when I figure out when they're going to be due. Are you okay? Course content, this right here is very, very important. This is where all the lecture slides will be at. Somebody saying something? Yes. What's that? Well, you don't because I'm the instructor, so I get to see all the assignments for the whole term. So I don't put all the assignments up there at the same time. So they'll appear as they go on. So I should have done this. This is your view right here. So these are the assignments you have. Okay. The other ones are not visible yet because we're not ready to go up. You can see it. First, I need to go out and work on them already. Assignments are worth 50 points apiece. So, in fact, the last assignment shouldn't be up there because that's not due until the very end of the term anyway. You couldn't do the last assignment. This is where you do the course survey at the end of the term. So, okay? Course content. About text messaging. I'm doing this a little different. I'm gonna take this off. Originally, we use a text message, so I can deliver information to you 3 different ways. I can do it, of course, through announcements. But what I do every time I post announcements, I'll send it out to your Lawson State email account also. So that's through announcements on Blackboard, through your email account, right? We also have the ability using a application called Remind, where I can come up and I can send you text messages. I can send the whole class a text message, and you can text me back. I have to know your cell phone number, but you don't know mine, even though the text has come to my phone. And you can use that, the whole time. So if you go back, you have access to your class, and you can always text me through Remind, right? Y'all understand that? In fact, I got a text from one of our students during the break about something was going on as his job. What I'll do is instead of you signing up yourself, what I do is in your syllabus quiz, this is not part of the syllabus, but this is where we put it at, since everybody in the class has to do that, is it's going to ask me for your phone number. And of course, that's going to be your cell phone number. And then the next question is going to ask me, do I have permission to use that phone to send you text relative to the class? Well, if you answer yes, then I will sign you up for Remind. I will do it. Now, it sends out a strange number. I can't remember what it is, but it sends out a strange number. Everybody, I know y'all got it from me. What is it? It's like 80. Yeah, 8770, 80770, or just 770. 770. So if you see that pop up, that's from the class. Okay. If you got multiple, if you're taking multiple classes, you need. Usually, I don't identify the class. I don't know if it don't pop up. The class does it. So I'll try to start doing that since some of y'all are multiple classes. But it's just a real neat way that we can send out text messages to the whole class. And also, the college has Cougar Alert. If y'all signed up for Cougar Alert, y'all need to make sure you do that. That's the way the colleges actually sends out alert messages that the college is ever closed or anything like that. And sometimes we have to close the college, even when it's not because of bad weather and stuff like that. They closed the Birmingham campus down, or they closed the West campus down one time because they had a problem with the sewage system over there. And so little things like that. We had a truck, an 18-wheeler, was unloading up stuff at the bookstore, and we took off. He didn't go out to the perimeter road. He cut across the parking lot. And his big old trailer caught the main feed on B building up there. And I don't know how fast he was going, but he broke the top out of 7 telephone poles. And that's the main power for the campus. Of course, power went over the whole campus. Fell down on a bunch of cars out there, blew out their ECM things. So I think there was a pretty good lawsuit on that. I don't remember exactly. This is our lab procedure. I'll give you these out. NC3 certification. I think we're probably going to do that in days this time. And then after that, I'll probably take this off for this class, unless we can arrange it. And you see the class itself is pretty full. So we'll start off with an introduction to AC, symbols, alternating current, introduction to semiconductors, then Zener diodes, which is a part of semiconductors. We'll look at solid state transducers or sensors. We'll look at transistors and their applications, and then other solid state devices. So this is what we're going to do in this method. These are the chapters. Our main concentration, of course, is everybody in here had AC yet? Okay. So we have an introduction to AC, because one of the main things that we teach here, what do you think the most used electronic circuit is? Most used electronic circuit. No, the circuit. What's performed by the most used electronic circuit by far? Well, everything. We have two types of current, right? We have alternating current and we have direct current. Now, what's the main advantage of AC? Why do we have two? Nobody here knows. Why do we have two types of current? Why don't we have AC? Why don't we just have DC? Or why don't we just have AC? We can electronically control DC. So every electronic device runs off DC. But the problem is we can't transmit DC over long distances. So AC is very efficient to transmit. We'll look at that a little bit. But my computer doesn't run off AC. My computer runs off DC. This guy runs off DC. All these robots over here run off DC. This projector runs off DC. All this test equipment on my computer runs off DC. Yet I plug it into Alabama Power. But I have this guy right here. We call this a power supply. So power supply is the most often used electronic circuit. So every electronic device you have has a what on it? A power supply. And of course the function of the power supply is to take that AC and get it over to what? DC. Manageable DC. Regulated DC. We got all different types we'll look at. Well, one of the things we're going to look at this semester, of course, since that's the most widely used power device, the first circuits we get into is going to be what? Power supply. Now, we're not going to get into, y'all already had DC. Everybody's had DC, right? We're going to get into power supplies. Well, if we don't understand AC, we can't, if we don't have a fundamental understanding of AC, we can't understand power supply. So that's where that's the first real lecture we'll go once we get through with our introduction to AC. Some of y'all it'll be a review, some of it won't. We're not going to learn everything in AC. AC is not an easy topic. Some of y'all that's had it, that's probably one of the harder courses y'all take here on college. Because AC is not a easy subject. Because AC you deal with stuff, phase shifts, and all this other kind of stuff that you need to have an understanding of, not a totally knowledge. So this is the introduction to AC. Then we, of course, symbols. We have different types of drawings, and if you take the blueprint reading class, you'll learn it. One of them's called a pictorial drawing. And you see a lot of pictorial drawings when you buy stuff. So if you go out and buy a new TV, it shows you a picture of a TV, and then it shows you your your DVD player and all this stuff, but it actually gives you what? It actually gives you pictures to them. I can't represent a power amplifier with the actual components that make it up. So how do we do? Well, we learn symbols. We use symbols to represent devices, electrical or electronic devices. And so if you don't understand the symbols of the trade, you can't what? You can't read the diagrams of the trade. If you can't read the diagrams of the trade, then you can't work in the trade, right? Couldn't you imagine a carpenter trying to build a building that couldn't read print? Or not use a tape measure, but we're talking about symbols now. Air conditioning people, HVAC systems, trying to run the air conditioning system in this building right here, and not knowing the symbols for ductworks and valves and all that other kind of stuff. So everything's got a symbol, right? Most of our diagrams we represent with symbols unless we have what we call pictorial drawings. Pictorial drawings are actually really good for consumers because they show you pictures of the items. They don't use a symbol. They actually have a drawing of the item. Right? So symbols are very, very important. So this is the course content. Inside each one of these would be everything you need for this topic. So if I go to Introduction to AC, this is going to be the PowerPoints I use. And every topic has a what? A quiz. And by George, this is good to study for the test, right? I understand. If you can do the topic quizzes, it means you understand the topic. And if you understand the topic, then you'll do good on the test. Or usually. Unless you cheat. It always amazes me what people do to cheat. Instead of learning this stuff, how complicated they make cheating. Data sheets. These are the sheets we'll be learning how to read. These actually, so to learn how these solid state devices work, or these semiconductor devices work, everything has tolerances, right? You understand that. So if the engine in your car has a specification that tells us what that engine has the capabilities to do. The average person don't understand that, but the people who work on that engine and understand that engine, they have to understand all the specifications of that engine. If they don't understand the specifications, when they hook that sucker up to that monitor system, and that computer shows up all these graphs and everything that shows you how the engine's performing, if they don't understand how it's supposed to perform, right, you understand that it's not going to do anything good. So we have what we call data sheets, and all the data sheets are basically similar to each other. So we'll learn how to read these data sheets. Unfortunately, most of these data sheets are put together by engineers, and they speak their own language. So you got to understand their language, their technical language, to do this, right? Handouts. This is a pretty complicated course in itself, and since it's complicated and it's got a lot of formulas in it, it's got a lot of math. Electronics has a lot of math in it. But if you can understand something mathematically, then you can understand how it works, right? You understand. It's all in the math. I don't know if y'all saw that movie, The Martian, that was a really good movie. He said that a lot. It's all in the math. If you can understand the math of this. But the problem is, a lot of this math you'll never use. It's just like Ohm's Law. Ohm's Law, when you get out in the field, odds are you will never actually write down Ohm's Law. But if you understand Ohm's Law, you understand if the voltage changes, what effect that has on the circuit, right? Power, understanding the power formulas. If you understand those formulas, then you can understand what happens to the power. 90% of the people, I can say, what happens to a power in the circuit if we double the power? If we double the voltage to a circuit, what happens to the power in the circuit? What would y'all say? If I double the voltage applied to a circuit, what happens to the power in the circuit? It's going to increase, but how much? If I double the voltage to a circuit, what happens to the power in the circuit? How much? That's what 99% of the people say. They say, okay, I double the voltage, I double the power. The power goes up, the power quadruples. If I triple the voltage, the power goes up by a factor of, the power in the circuit goes up by a factor of 9. Because if you understand Ohm's Law, you understand that if the resistance the resistance in the circuit doesn't change, I is equal to V over R, right? If V goes up and R doesn't change, the current doubles. Okay, and power is equal to V times I. So if I double the voltage in a circuit, what happens to the current? The current doubles. If the voltage doubles and the current doubles, then the power in the circuit would go up to times 4 and everything would burn up, right? You understand? If I half the voltage to a circuit, what happens to the power? The power delivered to the circuit drops down to 1/4. Because if I half the voltage, if I don't change resistance, the current halves. So if the voltage halves and the current halves, then what happens? But if you understand those formulas, you don't have to know them. All you got to do is understand the relationship between the voltage and the current. That's why voltage is pretty popular, right? You understand? Y'all understand that? So if we triple the voltage to a circuit for some reason, what happens to the power? Well, the power delivered to the circuit will go up by a factor of 9. Now we got big problems, right? I got a call from my mom one time, and she said, Rick, my stove will not even boil water anymore. And so what was happening though is the stove was designed around 240 volts, and she lost one of her leads coming down from her house. So the heating element was only getting 120 volts. So it was getting half of the voltage. So an 1800 watt element was only producing 1/4 of that power, right? You understand that? So big deal. So that's what we're talking about. So if you understand these formulas, but the formulas themselves here are pretty complicated. So what do we let y'all do? Well, during class, and you can see these are the formulas that we're going to use. And they would be pretty complicated to memorize, but if you got a formula sheet, if you understand how to put them on there, it makes it a lot easier, right? You understand that? So we use formula sheets on tests. For every test that we do, you'll have a formula sheet. And basically the formula sheet is laid out so these are your AC formulas. These are your power supply formulas, unregulated power supply, regulated power supply. And we'll actually learn about decibels in this class. Have y'all heard of dB before? Anybody know what a dB is? A decibel? Y'all do? Surprise me if y'all do. But you hear it all the time. You know. So that's where all our data sheet, that's where all our formula sheets are in handouts. What else? Course grade, you check your grade. Test reviews will be right here. There's none up there now because we're not ready, right? So we don't go over what's going to be in the test in class. We give out a review. One thing that makes sure that everything's on there, right? You understand? Another thing, it gives you the ability to look it over and you determine if you know something or don't know it. So I come over here and I go over something, and, you know, Brandy has it down 100% and Courtney has it, but I still go over it in class. So that we're basically wasting class time. Where if you get out there and say, well, I don't quite understand this, then you can send a question to me, right? And we can take care of it that way. Previous test, we don't give back tests in this class, but we do post them online for you so you can use them to study. This is the link you'll use to take tests. The test in this class will be similar to AC and DC, where the test will be divided into two parts because we're going to be dealing with circuits in this class. The problem with trying to put circuits on multiple choice is if you miss one thing, you do what? You miss everything. Here, if you miss one thing, but you show your work, and I see where you took that bad answer and put it into the rest of the circuit, then you get credit. You'll get credit for the rest of the answers, right? Even though they're all wrong. And that's the only way we can do that. This is the link right here I want you to use to email me. If you're going to send information about the class, use this link right here. And if you use this link, then what will happen, it'll automatically go into a folder for this class, and I don't have to sort through all my email to figure out who you are, right? Everybody understand? Make sure you use this. And like I told my day class, you know, I've got email from people from weird accounts, and they'll ask me a question about the class, about a class, but I don't what? Yeah, they'll send me from Yahoo, and they'll use these crazy names, you know. Your friend at yahoo.com, you know. Rich, I need some help. But if you've emailed it from this, it has your name up there. It has your college name up there, right? You understand? It goes into the folder for this class. So that's pretty neat. And if you're in multiple classes of mine, every time you email me, it would go into the right folder, right? Does that make sense? So if you're going to send email to me about the class, then that. Or if you want to send email to the other students in your class, for some reason, this will actually let you do that without actually knowing their email address. So what you can do is just select their name out of a list. Are we okay so far? Recorded lectures, we record all the lectures in here. So you can see this little line right here. You can see the little, and this is the recording software that I'm using right now. Because we're missing somebody. I think we got 5 people signed up for the class. And they're going to let us teach it, by the way. So it's going to be a nice class. If we don't pick up any more, but it would surprise me on an advanced class like this. Okay, so here's first week, courses and assignments. This is a very, very important place, right? What's up here? This is where your official course syllabus is. The remainder of the syllabus. What we do is give out a brief, which is basically the top part of the syllabus. The college, and y'all taken my classes, so y'all heard this, most of y'all have. The college don't want us to give out printed copies of the syllabus because it's such an expensive process to do. Like I told my other classes, we got over 4,000 students enrolled in Lofton State, full-time students. That means they're taking at least 4 classes. This syllabus is 7 pages. So that'd be 7 times 4,000 for one class. Right, you understand? And then that would be times 4 for all the classes. So if the college gave out the course syllabus for every class, it would cost them thousands of dollars just in printing fees. So what we do is we took another route. Instead of putting the syllabus totally online, what we've done is came up with something that we refer to as a syllabus brief, which is what we give out. This has the information about when the class meets, so you can carry this with you, right? It has the dates the class meets. This is a full-term class because it's a 5 credit hour course. So it's going to meet all the way from August 21st all the way to the 15th. Gives you the time the class meets, where it meets at, so y'all in the right place. Gives you my email address, so if you don't have access to Blackboard, most people have access to their cell phone, right? You understand. So if you've got this available, you can do that. It gives you the required supplies, so we don't list those on the syllabus. Yeah, we still list them on the syllabus, but it gives you the required supplies. So one thing that we need, we have a textbook in this thing that we do use, by the way. We do use the textbook. I'm not sure exactly how much it costs, but it costs a lot less than the other textbook before we went to this. So this is the textbook. I don't know if it looks exactly like this because we always order the current edition. This is the edition I have. So you should, the lab book that we use in this class, these experiments and fundamentals of electronics. This is the same lab book that you bought for DC, which is pretty neat. So there's a lab book you can use. You use that lab book in DC, you use it in AC, you use it in solid state. If you're in the industrial electronics program, if you want to take the advanced electronics class, we'll use that lab book in there. So you could ultimately get 4 classes out of it. Definitely, if you're industrial electronics, you will get 3. So that thing's well worth its money. So don't get rid of your lab book. Hopefully they told you that. And if you buy a lab book, we don't let you use lab books, right? Well, that's not true. If somebody sold their lab book in DC, you could use it in this class. But if they sold it after solid state and you got it, none of the labs are going to be in there. Because in this book, you notice the pages are perforated. So how do you don't turn your lab book into me. You turn your labs in. You tear your pages out and turn your labs in. So we've had that happen in motor controls especially. They'll go down and buy a used lab book, and when they start turning them in, there's no labs in there. So don't buy a used lab book. Are you okay? The lab book, the textbook, you'll need to get you some 22 gauge solid strand wire. Where you can get that out, I don't know if they cover it, if they have it in the bookstore or not. We don't have the communication between the bookstore and the instructors anymore because the bookstore is not owned by Lawson State. They rent a space out up there. So that is not Lawson State's bookstore. It's a Follett bookstore. On the Birmingham campus and the Bessemer. The Birmingham campus and the Bessemer campus, those bookstores don't belong to Lawson. Those are contracted out. So what they do is they pay rent for that space. So since they're a third party, I don't have the personal. The other bookstore manager was a friend of one of my Facebook friends. He still is, even though he's retired. So when we order our books, I could show you the form. Down at the bottom, we put the supplies we need for the class, and then it's up to them whether they get it. So I don't know. If not, guys, if we can't get it, let me know, and we'll see what we can do. You can't safety glasses. You make sure you get safety glasses for the class. Isn't it up there? Yeah, safety glasses with side shields or wraparound safety glasses are fine too. A lot of your newer safety glasses don't have the side shields, but they need to come back to your temple. We're dealing with solid state devices. Solid state devices, if you don't hook them up right, guess what? They pop. They'll blow up. AC capacitors blow up. Did he show you the video about the delivery blowing up capacitors? I did. So capacitors blow up. So that's why we require you to wear safety glasses. They don't create enough, energy to penetrate your skin unless you're holding on to them when they blow up. But they do send shrapnel out that can get in these eyes, right? So we got to be careful about that. I'm not trying to scare you. So first week quizzes, you're required to read the what first? the syllabus brief and the syllabus. Then you're required to take a what? A quiz on the syllabus. Everybody understand that? You're required to do a syllabus agreement, which says, I agree with the contents of the syllabus. A lot of the classes you take will require you to sign a sheet of paper. We decided to go this route because that way we don't have to keep up with the paper. The Blackboard keeps this up. So it's kind of like an end user license agreement, or what we call a EULA, that you get when you install a lot of software on your computers, where you have to give them. Nobody reads those things, but if you ever read them, it would say, you don't own this software, buddy. I own the software. I'm giving you the right to use it. So, even when you buy games, you know, for your you don't own the game. You might own the disc that the game come on, but you don't own the game. So it still owns to the whoever wrote it or the company that wrote it. So everybody okay on the syllabus brief? On the brief. Of course, if you buy solid strand wire, you need to get you a set of wire strippers. Everybody okay there? Harbor Freight sells a nice pair of those for not much. Needing those pliers, we deal with a lot of circuits that are really close together, and you'll find out sometimes your fingers are too big to put wires in there. So then those pliers work out really, really well. Of course, scientific calculator, everybody should have that by now. I think that's required in DC. And then, of course, you need to have a computer with internet access or a tablet. It's up to you. This is not for here. This is for home. We provide the computers here. But if you want to bring your laptop in, that's fine. You know, especially if you're over there working on your lab and you want to look up a data sheet or something like that instead of coming over to the table. You won't be allowed to use your computer during a test. You'll have to use one of my computers for obvious reasons. Are we okay? Any questions on that? Okay, formula sheet. Let's look over the course syllabus real fast. Most of y'all, our syllabi are basically the same for all our classes. So we don't put the date, we don't put the instructor in there anymore because that's all on the wall. It's on the brief. So the brief is part of the syllabus. Course description, prerequisite. The only prerequisite for this class is ETC. ETC 101, which is direct current. We do AC in this class, but we teach you the amount of AC that's required, and we do use oscilloscopes, right, Brandy? So Brandy's an expert on oscilloscopes now. Y'all can get her to help y'all. So if you hadn't had any oscilloscopes, then we'll spend a little time on that. Normally we have people that's had AC, and we try to. Well, that's not true. In this class, we probably won't do partners. And why is that? Because the class is so small. There's the book, required supplies, Blackboard. If you don't use Blackboard in the class, you're going to have problems. College email. You know, this is why we also use that texting software, because they said about, 30% of the people check their email all the time. 90% of the people respond to text. So it's a lot more likelihood that we get into you. This is what we're going to be covering, topics we're going to be covering during the class. This is the way you're graded, percentage. Test, we give 4 tests during the semester, so basically we'll have a test every month. I'll put that up on the calendar. This class, this is a full-term class. We do have a little bit of leeway, probably a 1-class leeway. So that means we could move the test around, but you need to let me know up front, right? You understand that? So once I post that calendar, you need to go out and look at that. And if you've got something where you're going to be away, then if we can move that test, we can move it 1 class and still get the amount of information in between tests, because this is a full-term class. But you got to let me win up front. If something comes up, though, what we do is we don't give makeup tests in the class. And why we do that is the way the tests run. So what we do is we give a test, we'll give it at the end of the class, then the next class we go over the test while it's still fresh on your mind. If we gave makeups, what couldn't we do the next class? We couldn't go over the test, right? You understand? Because now that wouldn't be fair on everybody else here. So we don't give makeups. But we do understand that things happen. And there might be a class that you might want to miss. You might have to miss. Don't take off because you want to. Take off because you have to, right? And so what we do is we scale the test. We drop one of your test scores at the end of the term. So if you're absent on a night of a test, then you'll get a 0 on the test, but that will be dropped, right? You understand that? Everybody okay there? That makes sense? Final exam is not considered it's considered the final exam. The final exam will be basically made up of all 4 tests. So once we finish test 4, we will not cover any more material. We'll basically be in lab the rest of after that. And we won't cover any new material. So how do you study for the final? Well, you go back on Blackboard and go into that previous test section and just go over those tests. If you do okay on all those tests, then by George, you'll do okay on the final. If you don't study for those, you won't do okay on the final. Everybody understand that? Final is 20% of your grade. So finals can definitely pass you or fail you. I've had people come into the final with a good C average, and then they just don't study, and they end up making a 60 on the final, and they make a D in the class. And a D at Lawson State is a failing grade. Y'all understand that? So to pass a class at Lawson State, you have to make a C. And why? Because to get your award, you have to have a C average. And if you get an F on your transcript, an F is real hard to get off. People don't understand that. So let's say you make an F on a class, or you make a D. Well, let's say you make a D in a class, and you come back next time and you make a B. Well, the D is still averaged into your grade point average. Y'all understand that? So in college, failing grades don't disappear. So in high school, if you go back and retake a grade, then you pass the grade. You still pass the grade, right? In college, if you pass the class, but you might not get your award. You might not get your award at the end because you don't have the quality points required. Everybody okay? I talked about which quizzes again, about the assignments. Assignments are due you're going to have a due date out there. Most of the assignments are going to be done online through Blackboard, which means there's no reason for not getting them done on time. Ones that are online. I don't know if this class, I don't think we have any offline assignments. So what we do is they're worth 50 points. You lose 10 points for every day they're late. So that means, you don't turn it in on time, and you turn it in the next day, and it's worth 50 points. If you made 100%, you get 40 points, right? You understand that? If you did 30 on the assignment, you still lose 10 points. So there's really no sense of not getting assignments done on time. In fact, the assignments will be up there well before when they're due. So I had some people in my Intro to Robotics class went ahead and did assignment 2. Topic quizzes are due within 7 days after we complete that topic in class. Everybody understand that? So when we finish our introduction to AC, when we finish that up, the topic quiz is due within what? Within 7 days. Everybody understand that? I can't leave those topic quizzes. And you get the topic quizzes, you get two shots at. So if you don't like the grade you made the first time, you can retake. People don't understand that. They want them to be up and up and up. The questions on the topic quiz does not change. So what usually happens is if we let you take those more than twice, then you're not learning anything, you're memorizing stuff, right? You've recorded the answer somewhere, and you come back and you do real well. And by the way, we don't give you, we tell you which ones you missed, but we don't tell you the correct answer. So what those things do is if you do the ones you get right, you don't really worry about. The ones you missed the first time, you need to go back and restudy for those, right? Because what we're trying to do with the topic quiz is identify weaknesses, right? You understand that? We had, some of y'all might have, this is a true story too. We were given the Certified Electronic Technician test. and they had some practice tests online. We had 2 students that went up, and they'd let you take those things as many times as you wanted. They went up there and they took those things, and took those things, and took those things, and took those things, and they was making 100 on every one of them. They went and took the certification test and made 70. You had to make 75 to pass. Neither one of them passed. And why? They memorized tests. They memorized questions. They knew the answer. So instead of using the topic quizzes to identify their weaknesses, where they'd go back and study, they just went back and kept taking the test over and over and over again without ever studying. Right? So eventually they learned the answer to that question, but they did not understand the topic. So that's why we only let you take it twice. The first time, if you don't do good, it shows you which ones you missed. What do you need to do? That's when you need to go back and look that over, right? In topic quizzes, after 7 days, they're gone. They're gone. So what does that mean? You get 2 shots at it within 7 days. Because we can't have you doing this all semester long, right? One thing we try to teach, labs, the way labs work is in this class we do labs. Every lab has a little topic quiz at the end, has a lab quiz at the end of the lab. We don't want you doing the quiz here in class. We want you to do the quiz at home. So what we do is when I sign off your last circuit in that lab, what we do is I'll put a due date, and the due date is going to be the next class. And this guy only has like 5 questions at the end of each lab. They're not really extremely hard. And what that does, it gives you the ability to answer those at home, right? And then turn them in the next day, the next class. And then if you don't turn them in the next class on that due date, we take off 10% of the lab grade for every day that it's started. Can I help you? Let me see. It's not over here. It's EET 100. I think it's on the other campus. Electrical fundamentals. Oh, this is automotive, AUM. This is in building J. Where they moved that at? Oh, I know. You know, out the main gate, red light. Used to be the auto dealership. Those classes are taught to back. Understand where I'm at?
Okay, so it's down the road.
No, it's this. So if you go out this way, it's that way.
Okay.
So when you go out this way, you'll turn left. And then before you get to the Lawson, what do they call that business center down there on the left? Used to be the Wachovia Bank. There used to be a car lot there. Yeah, there used to be a car lot there. You can tell where it used to be. Well, there's a trailer all the way in the back, and that's where they do these automotive classes. Good luck. If you can't find it, come back. I'll give Jason a call and find out exactly. But that's where his office is at, I think, so I'm not sure. Huh? Everybody okay? I know we're going over break time. Y'all go ahead and take a break. 10 minutes. I'll go ahead and pause this. Everybody okay on first week quizzes? Assignments? Everybody okay on that? There's another thing we want to look at. Topic quizzes. Everybody okay there? Worksheets. We give out a bunch of worksheets in this class. It's very similar to DC. We give out worksheets. The worksheets are also up on Blackboard. So I'll put it on the calendar when the worksheets due. So it's very important that you get on Blackboard and check that calendar, right? You understand? Because if you're absent when I give the worksheet out, how are you going to get the worksheet? Where are you going to get on? Hopefully you have access to a printer. You'll have to download it and print it yourself and turn it in next class. If we have a worksheet that is due, it's due the next class. Well, what if you're absent on the day that it's due? If you got a scanner, you can scan it and send it to me via email, or you can take a picture of it, but make sure it's a picture that's legible and I can read it, right? You understand? You can snap a picture and send that worksheet to me on email. And that way, of course, you won't get credit for getting here, but you'll get credit for the worksheet. Worksheets are not graded for accuracy, they're graded for attempts. You'll understand that. Because I understand that a lot of this stuff is going to be new. You're graded on tests. And where do I get the circuits that I put on most of the tests? From the worksheet. So basically, you've seen every circuit that you're going to see on the test. They'll be on the worksheet. If you don't do the worksheets, if you don't attempt them, you get 0 on them. If there's 5 circuits on there and you attempt all 5 of them, then you get full credit. If you attempt 3 of them, then you get you get 4/5 credit. Everybody understand how that works? So what we're trying to do is get you to attempt them anyway, right? You understand? Just doing a restore. Don't turn it off. Just doing a restore. Don't worry about it. Just find you another computer. It's going to take it a while. Don't turn it off. I'm sorry I yelled, but you don't want to mess with a computer when it's doing a restore. And we got plenty of computers on here, so if you want a computer, you'll just have to move. Sorry. But I appreciate that. And if you get to a computer that's not working, you need to let me know. People, this happens all the time. You know, they'll come over here and they'll get a trainer and it don't work. What do they do? Swap it. This has happened to me before. There's only one trainer that's working. We got a whole cabinet full of them. There's only one trainer that's working, and nobody's told me why. Yeah, so y'all don't understand. I don't get out there every day and check all these computers to see if they're okay. And so we got 20 computers. Yeah, we're fine. We're good. We got one more person in this. We got 5 people. They're going to let us teach. I don't know who the 5th person is. I need to do roll, too. Let me go ahead and pause the lecture and go have problems with it. First week quizzes and course information, course syllabus. This talks about recorded lectures. These are made in actual classroom settings, and it's still a technology, right? You understand? So don't depend on these lectures. They're a tool, but don't depend on them. It's really good to go back and review. We have people do that. Of course, if you're absent, you really need to make sure that you go back and do what? And listen to these recordings. Make sure you check your email. Course withdrawal. This is one that I have problems with all the time. I cannot withdraw you from the class. If you stop coming and you do not withdraw, I grade you just like you're here. So if you don't do an assignment, you get 0 on it. If you don't take a test, you get 0 on it. At the end of the semester, you make an F. F is really, really hard to get off a transcript, right? Like I said, you know, you take it one time, you get an F because you didn't come. You take it the next time and complete it, you get an A. You end up with a C average for the class, which is just enough to get that, right? You understand that? You know, it's real nice when you put on a resume that you were on like the AB honor roll and stuff like that. So if it appears like you're going to fail the class, one thing that I recommend is you hold on until the last day to withdraw. And in that way, the class will truly be a repeat, right? You understand that? Everybody understand that? If you withdraw after the first test, then you come back, it's not going to be a repeat. It's all going to be new material with you. So if you withdraw before the last day to withdraw, you will get a W in the class. A W does not count against your grade point average at all. You'll have to retake the class, but it don't count against your GPA, your grade point average. The published last day to withdraw is on the college calendar, on the Austin State website, and I will put it on Blackboard in the calendar, the last day to withdraw. If you don't withdraw by the last day to withdraw, then you will get a grade in the class. Everybody understand that? So a W is kind of like an audit. They still let you audit classes, by the way. Audit classes, you take full tuition for the course. You take the course. You can take the test if you want to, just to judge it, but you don't get a grade. And there's a lot of people that have a lot of money in college, they'll do that. They'll audit a hard course, and then they'll come back and take it for a grade, just to get a real high GPA. But that's a lot of money. Disability Act, if you've got a disability, you need to talk to Mr. Renee Herndon on this campus and get that documented so we can make the arrangements for you. I cannot make arrangements for you as a student. Everybody understand that? Unless it's through the ADA. Cell phones, make sure you put your cell phone on silent, acceptable use. Don't copy. Don't tear up our computers. This is all in the system. Don't go in and write notes in the restroom wall. That always bothers me. Of course, technicians do that. When I was in the Navy, you'd walk you'd sit in the stall, and there was a note this direction right here, and you lean over and read it. It said, "If you can read this, you're setting at a 45-degree angle." So that's the kind of stuff we come up with, right? Children on campus, these are notes. By the way, I only call roll once in the class, and when I start class, usually I forget. So if I mark you absent and you don't come up here and say, "Rich, make sure I'm on roll," then you're still absent, right? You understand that? And I've had people try to argue with me on that, but if I put you down at absent, you're absent. And then if you come up and say, "Rich, can you get me back on roll?" then I will open that back up and I will put you back. I will put you as tardy to the class. If you leave class early, you need to let me know you leave class, and that's a safety concern, right? You understand? So if we have a fire drill or something happens and we have to go outside, and I think you're here and you're not here because you snuck out, then they're going to send somebody back in here looking for you, right? That would be real bad if they send somebody back in here looking for you and they get killed. Especially since one of my sons do that. One of my sons, he's a medic fireman with the Hoover over there. And we don't use profanity in the classroom. So two of the things in notes you really need to understand is if you come in late or leave early, you need to let me know. There's no such thing as excused absences. So if you got to leave early, you don't have to let me know why. You just need to say, "Rich, I need to go." Now I might fuss at you a little bit and try to tell you we're fixing to go over some important information, but it's still your decision. Okay, y'all understand that? Don't ask for my permission to leave, because I can't give you permission to leave class. You're an adult, right? Is it okay? I get that all the time. Is it okay if I go? Well, what am I going to say? I'm going to say no, right? You understand? Because I'm an instructor teaching class, and if you're not here, then you're not going to get what I'm trying to give out. Or if you're in lab, you're not going to get through with the lab. So I might say, we don't give makeup in lab and that kind of stuff. So, but if you got to go, you got to go. Just let me know. Everybody okay? And by the way, people that's had my classes before, I do get excited. So a lot of times people think I'm fussing at them, but I'm not. It's just the way I am. So that's the syllabus. Anybody got any questions on the syllabus? Speak now or forever hold your peace. So what's due before next class? The syllabus agreement, right? Going in saying I agree with the contents of the syllabus. Okay, everybody okay there? The syllabus quiz is due by midnight Friday. Is everybody okay there?